Does rolling improve your jiu-jitsu more than drilling? I hear this question a lot, and I hear a lot of people say something to the effect of, you have to roll to get good at jiu-jitsu. You can't just drill. Guys, my name is Bill Jones. I'm the head instructor of Top Level Martial Arts in beautiful downtown Cuyahoga Falls. Black belt under Master Pedro Sauer and Tony Rinaldi. You're watching Professor's Corner. Guys, if you have input on this, do me a favor, like, subscribe. Don't forget to comment below. I want to hear the types of drills and rolling that you like to do that you feel improves your jiu-jitsu the most. So the question comes up all the time. Is rolling more valuable or is drilling more valuable? I'm sure we've all heard the adage that drillers make killers, right? If you've never heard that, it's pretty common. But I think before we get into that question, we have to understand where that comes from and also what those things mean. And I believe that's where most people fall short when they suggest that you should just roll to get good at jiu-jitsu. So let's start with the idea of rolling. What does rolling mean? If you go to any jiu-jitsu academy, Brazilian jiu-jitsu specifically, or Gracie, and you say, okay, let's roll, what you're going to get is probably something like a high five and a fist bump. You're either going to start standing or on the ground, and you're both going to try to win. Okay? You might decide that, hey, we're going to go light when we roll. Maybe you're going 50, 60, 70% so that you don't get injured. But it's free movement, meaning you can do any moves from any position at any time, and you're trying to win. You're trying to get the submission or the most points during a timed match or something of that nature. So think of rolling as completely free movement. Whereas drilling, I believe, is a lot bigger than most people think. I think if I said, hey, let's drill a move, most people are going to expect, okay, I'm going to give you my arm, you're going to do an arm bar. Maybe we start in the mount and you move and you take the arm bar. And we do this a bunch of times. And that's drilling a move. The problem is there's a big gap in between those two things, right? So I believe that when people say that they don't like to drill, they'd rather just roll, it's because they don't do enough of the training in between 100% cooperative, unresistant, practice of a technique and rolling. And there's a lot of stuff in between there. So let me give you an example of what I mean. I used to play football. I was not good, but I was on the team. We did not go out every day and play a football game. That's not how you train football. The first thing you do is you walk through the plays. I don't know, maybe you're watching this, you don't know a lot about football, but every position has a predefined sequence of movements that they're going to do in order to make the whole team move as a single unit and get the ball down the field. Same thing for the defense. They have a generally predefined sequence of movements, especially in the front, while others are usually keying in on certain players. So if you're a linebacker, you might be keying in on the movement of, say, the guards, or maybe you're keying in on it depends on the kind of defense you're playing. Little cut there I had to take care of. I had my vacuum on in the back. But anyway, you've got these predefined movements and you're trying to just learn where you're supposed to move and when. So that would be our equivalent of practicing the move without resistance, right? You literally just walk through the sequence of events and everybody kind of just walks into the positions and you get the idea of moving. It's kind of like when you first give a kid keys to the car. You don't take a Maserati and hand a 16-year-old keys to your Maserati and say, go have a good time. No, you buy them a junk car at first or something that is maybe much safer and lots of airbags, lots of everything. You take them on back roads. They drive slowly down back roads. They learn how to move forward. They learn how to reverse before they ever, get out on a main road where they could actually kill somebody or themselves. And your drilling and training should be the same way in jiu-jitsu. So back to the football analogy. Again, in football, and this applies to jiu-jitsu because sports-specific training has been there's a lot of science behind it. And there's a reason that football is trained the way it is, and basketball and baseball and hockey and soccer and every sport in the world is trained this way, because it works. So the first thing you do is you learn the sequence of events. That's the same as learning your basic move, right? Your arm bar or your berimbolo to the back. Like, you have to learn how to make those movements happen before you're ever going to hit them in rolling, of course. The next thing you'll do in football is you'll drill, maybe you'll speed up the rate of those movements. So a good example of this would be like, if I taught a move, let's say a basic armbar from the guard, and then I said, okay, guys, and I let everybody go and work that move. And then I said, okay, guys, let's come back. Now what I want you to do is try to hit that move 7 times in 2 minutes, or whatever, 14 times in 2 minutes, without missing a step, right? So it's still relatively non-resistant, but I'm just increasing their need for their brain to think faster, to go through the sequence of events, the order of operations, to hit the technique, to allow their body to start speeding up. Then you might bring them back. So the next step of that, and that would be like the equivalent of, okay, now we're done walking through the play. Everybody understands what they're supposed to do. Now let's put a ball in your hand and kind of move through the play quickly. Boom, you learn to do that. Then what you're going to do is you're going to do just that play. You're going to work it over and over and over again, or maybe 2 plays, right? But the point is, you'll put the defense in a specific defense. Say, this is exactly what you're going to do. You're going to be in a nickel defense, and we're going to, or whatever kind of defense, and we're going to work our waggle, which is a type of play. And that's what's going to happen. Boom, they'll work the waggle, and you're trying to beat that defense with that specific play. It's nothing else. But both those people are going at relatively 100%, right? We rarely ever go truly 100% in training, but I think what I'm saying is there's full resistance going on. There's actual resistance. And that's what most people skip in their drilling. Okay, so near the end of every class, before I say, okay, it's open mat, go roll, what I typically will do is I'll say, okay, guys, today we worked, so for example, today was working chokes from the mount. What I'm going to set 2-minute timers. I want the person on the bottom to simply work trying to get out of the mount. Person on the top, your first goal is to just maintain the mount. And if you see the opportunity, try to work that choke. And that's it. It's a very restrictive rolling. Okay? So it's not true rolling, because I define rolling as going 100% free movement. Whereas this is a drill of a technique. But it's going to make it so that there is resistance, right? And so they're trying to get the hand in, and maybe some people get it, and the higher ranks understand how to beat people's hands and how to do that. You do a few rounds like that. You stop. You bring everybody back in, and then you ask questions. You say, okay, what went right for you? What went wrong? What wasn't working? And this now will take that information that is at the forefront of their mind, right? Because think about it. They're in a very restrictive situation. The person's trying to escape. Maybe everybody did a good job maintaining the mount. But man, every time I try to put the hand in, they're blocking the hand. I can't get the hand in. They're going to ask questions that are extremely specific to their own needs and goals. And that's really important from a coaching standpoint, because now I can give them material at the time that it happened that is going to help them get better immediately. And then, if I have the time, I'll send them back out to do it again. Maybe another 2 minutes on the top, 2 minutes on the bottom. And what this allows is for them to then take the things that they've learned and try those too, and come up with new problems. Hey, now that worked. I was in there, but then when I went to get the second hand, their face was in the way, or they were blocking with the other hand, or whatever. This is why a lot of people don't like drilling. Okay, a lot of people don't like drilling because it is an arduous process, it's hard, and it's going to bring up problems. But that's a good thing, because rolling is where you try to do things, with all the possible defenses in place. But you build your triggers, your if they do this, then I do that, in the drilling. Another great way to drill, like for example, let's say we had done an armbar defense. would be like, okay, everybody's going to lay down, or, maybe arm bar from side control or something. Everybody's going to lay down. Person's going to have your arm. They don't have it straight yet, but they have maybe the crease of the elbow so that we can make it somewhat fair. Legs are in place. And now, your goal is to do your hitchhiker or your parallel movement escape, and their job is to try to finish the arm bar. If your arm gets extended, I want you to tap. Extend it with the thumb up. Maybe we'll say that. Just because I also don't want people to break their arms. And then you have to be hyper aware of the person who's doing it. Okay, guys, look, if you're doing it and you think you've got it, don't keep going. Just, you think you've got it, but like they're not going to tap. Just let them go through their escape then. You've got to be real smart about how you train people, because you get people hurt. What we're doing is it's not dancing. It's not, and I say that as though dancing can't be dangerous. But my point is, we are actively trying to bend things in the wrong direction. So if we're not careful with our instructions, that might happen, and it might be our fault as an instructor. We don't want that to happen. So I think that's the big deal there, is that a lot of people miss. And then I'll tell you one last drill that a lot of people miss. And that's doing it without a human being around them. And it's almost like if you've ever done traditional martial arts or seen traditional martial arts, like a kata of the move, right? You should be able to do the movement required for the technique without a partner if you ever expect to do it with a partner. Because if your body can't go through that movement in an uncontested method, it's going to be really, really hard for it to go through that movement when it is contested. Right? You're going to be off balance in places. You're going to have problems. Now, of course, there's certain movements that may be really challenging to do. Like if you have to hook and like hitchhiking on their weight, things like that. Obviously, you need that inertia created by the other person to do that. But that's where I think most people miss. And so this is why I think that, yes, rolling is absolutely necessary to get good at jiu-jitsu. You have to roll because that's where you experience a higher level of aggression. It's where you experience the whole of combat that can happen in that scenario. Depends if you're having punches or whatever you're doing. Some people roll with punches, some don't, some, sport, whatever it is. That's where you're going to experience the whole gamut of it. But you need to train at different levels of resistance to drill. And that's how you're going to get really, 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 really good at things. The best guys in the world quite often will come in and they'll be like, okay, I'm going to drill my worm guard. So the only thing I'm trying to do is get to the worm guard. If I get there, we're done. Don't let me get there. And that's their role. They start in the guard, boom, 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 worm guard. Boom, 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 worm guard. Boom, 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 boom. Oh, I missed it. You passed. Good. Come back. Boom, 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 worm guard. And you do that over and over and over again. And then it's like, okay, now I want to drill. I'm already got my worm guard and I want to do my sweep to an armbar, right? And so you try to get your sweep to an armbar. You tell them what you're going to do and then you learn to do it anyway. This is the difference between going from white belt to blue belt and all the way to black belt and beyond. You have to have that dedication to drill that way. So I hope this has been helpful to you. I want to hear again from you guys. What are some drills you like to do in your own academy? If you're an instructor, what are some things that you like to do? Or maybe you're a student and you and a buddy, come in and train before classes or even during classes or whatever, some drills you like to do. I'd love to hear about them. As a coach, I'm always looking for new ideas and new drills. But don't overlook drilling and really open your mind to the idea of what drilling really means. It doesn't always mean completely uncontested techniques. If all you're doing is for 20 minutes, just or for an hour or whatever, you're just showing them a move and they're going to go kata the move. They're going to lay back, okay, lay back. Start giving them a little bit more resistance in certain areas and say, okay, you guys are purple belts. You understand how to do the move. What I want to do is start in the hand and the collar and get it anyway. Start challenging those drills. All right, guys. If you have any questions, let me know. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Have a great one.